Hello, and welcome back to MXTC, Masculine Excellence Through Christ. Now, I am still abroad in San Francisco. Zach is back home holding the fort down. But upon my journeys here in San Francisco, I've had the opportunity of doing outreach on a Wednesday where we serve the community coffee, love on people. I've seen many miracles, signs, wonders break out. And upon that and doing that, I have had the privilege of getting to know the man sitting next to me, Cyrus Kouandjio. Cyrus, how you doing, brother?
Pretty good, man. I'm so glad you came down here. I have newfound love for Australia.
Oh, yeah?
And yeah, man, I got to go back to visit. I heard you're leaving in a week, but
I am.
So yeah, we just gotta enjoy the time that we're here.
Bro, it's been such a pleasure getting to know you over the past 12 weeks.
Absolutely, man. Hey, like we had a whole journey here. Had a whole journey, adventure, lots of stories, a lot of things happen, especially out there on the streets like you did, like you said, yeah, outreach in the communities. You were very active here, and I'm. It's a pleasure for me meeting you. I call you a friend.
Oh, thank you, bro.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Now, Cyrus, I don't want to take away from your story with what you've shared with me, but you've got a pretty unique story. Being such a pro in the athletic space, the athlete space, do you want to touch on maybe what you formerly did and maybe what you've been well known as, and then we can touch on your testimony?
Yeah, I mean, just giving you a background on me. Born in Cameroon, age of 4, moved to Washington, D.C. area. Grew up there, started picking up football. Went to play at the Matha Catholic High School, which is one of the top high schools in the country every year. Then from there, went to play at the University of Alabama for the Nick Saban era, which is a really good program for American football. And then, and then I went to play with Denver Broncos, Buffalo Bills, a couple national NFL teams.
Amazing, dude.
Yeah, had 6 years, and now I do a little bit of real estate. I've had my hands in a few things, small businesses. I'm trying to create small businesses and have them run by themselves and just create more of them. So I'm on to my 3rd right now, which is...
You're a busy man, dude.
Man,
I see how hard you work as well. I've been there with you, and man, you're sweating bullets.
Yeah, man. The plan is to not be on the trucks, but I'm still on there until I crack the code.
Yeah, of course.
So yeah, man, I'm cracking the code, trying to figure out how to get this thing going, and then off to the next one.
Yeah. So you said you grew up in Cameroon.
Yeah, grew up in Cameroon. Moved to America when I was 4, and then went from there on all over the place. I lived all over the place, all over. I probably visited every state in the country. Just
by choice, or was that because of football?
Mostly because of football.
Yeah.
I played a lot of games, a lot of places, visited a lot of places for football, and I just moved around a lot, especially because of football. Yeah. But yeah, it's just a lifestyle, and I love it. I'm starting to get a little bit old now. I'm starting to.
Oh, you're young.
I know, but like I feel like I have gray hairs. Like I don't know, man. Just moving all the time, packing up. Yeah, it's starting to get old on me. I'm on my 3rd kid now, so yeah, 3 businesses, 3 kids, 31 years old. Just keep grinding at it,
Dude, hands full.
Hands
full. I love your haircut too, man.
Appreciate it, man. Good. I did it for the interview.
Oh yeah?
Yeah. Usually I go for the Wolverine homeless man look, but I decided to clean it up for the respect of the audience here. I don't want to scare them away.
I haven't had a haircut in 3 months. I feel like I'm looking like Sideshow Bob or someone from The Simpsons.
Bro. You good, bro. You know you got it. You all right. You're all right.
So did you grow up Christian in Cameroon? I guess you probably didn't really know what Christianity was.
Yeah.
Touch on that.
We grew up Christian. Went to church. We try to go to every church every Sunday. My dad was hot and cold at times, so it really depended on him. I got into Christianity seriously junior year of high school, and then of course I went up and down. But
how old's junior year?
Junior year, that was about 16 years old. I started taking it seriously. Yeah, it was through a girl.
Oh yeah?
Yeah, a girl got me. Yeah, she made me go to church, and it was one of those Pentecostal Holy Ghost fire churches. And I was like, man, this is serious. Yeah. and I was learning about the unseen realm and stuff about what's going on behind in the spirit and all that stuff. So I got baptized in that type of environment. So
Really?
yeah, so that was like my baseline, and then I evolved after that. I mean, I take things and we just keep growing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How long were you with this lady for?
Oh no, that was like a couple, like 8 months, I think.
Oh, really? And she introduced you to Christianity in that time properly?
Yeah, it's crazy.
Wow.
I mean, God uses whatever He can, I guess.
That's crazy, man.
Yeah, but it was good. God, everything happens for a reason, and I wouldn't trade it for anything,
Yeah. So then, 16, you continued going to church up until through your college years.
Yeah, went to church through college. I didn't really go to church as much, but I kept, I knew in the back of my mind I'm a Christian.
Yeah.
Had hot seasons, cold seasons with Christ. Went to the NFL. Then I really got into Christ, and I really got into. It was a lot. It was a rocky road.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. But like Christ and I right now, I think we're the best right now that we've ever been.
2 peas in a pod.
2 peas in a pod. Yeah. 2 peas in a pod.
Well, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Dude. Okay, so then how was I guess being a Christian in like the athletic space? Because maybe let's backtrack. So you finished college.
I dropped out twice.
You dropped out twice.
Yeah.
And then what was that process of going from college to like football?
The NFL. So
college. Sorry, just because Australians like we don't have college, so I'm trying to get my mind. So college is where you played for Alabama, was it?
No, Alabama. Yes. Alabama played. College is where I played for Alabama. Played there 3 years. For graduate is usually 4 years.
Okay.
I left or dropped out the first time to go play in the National Football League.
Yep.
It was a big opportunity, and I took it, and I'll never look back.
Yep.
And then, the second time I retired from the NFL, and I was supposed to go back. Like everybody told me to go back to school, and I just like, I'd rather just start businesses. So I was like, okay, all right, cool. Studying, cool. All right, let's start this business. Started flipping houses, and then started doing Airbnbs and started bringing in revenue. Yeah.
So college is like our university, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah.
So you finish
university.
high school and then you go to college.
Absolutely. Yeah.
And then with college, you like specialize in, well, for you it was sport, right? But in the same time, you're studying something. Is that right?
Yeah, I was studying operations management.
Okay.
It's like a business thing.
Yeah.
And and then you go to university, or you study your field, and then usually you go to work. But I kind of left early to go to work. Yeah.
And then how was college football for you? Because
college football was awesome. I mean, I wish I stayed longer, and I don't at the same time, because it's like the most like. Football in the NFL is all business. In the national football, it's all business. Is you produce. College, you actually get to put your heart into it, and you get to really enjoy the time and enjoy being a young man.
Because you don't get paid for it, do you?
Oh
college?
no, now they do.
Now they do. Yeah.
Now they do. Now they're getting big checks. But me, I didn't get paid, and no, I didn't try to work the system. Yes, I probably could have got a couple dollars or two. Right. I worked, but I didn't. Straight and narrow. Yeah, and that's what I did. Yeah.
So with your time at Alabama, how was like were most people Christian? Were you like the odd one out? How was that like with your faith playing sport?
So yeah, a lot of people are Christian, but the thing about the South is a lot of people are Christian. It's like the norm. It's part of the culture. Majority of people are Christian in the South. Like they call it the Bible Belt.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Like they're growing. Like it's part of. If you want to be a part of the community, you're probably a Christian. So, yeah, we had a lot of Christians in the locker room. A lot of we made lots of prayers and.
So good, man.
Yeah, absolutely. So, yeah, it's definitely not the oddball. Not, of course, a lot of people weren't much of a Christian and didn't act like they were, but and they just did their own thing. But yeah, there's lots of brothers in there.
What year did you finish college?
So my last year playing college football, or university football, is 2013.
2013.
Yeah, and I went. Yeah.
You from my research that I did on you, you were a hot shot. Yeah, you were like a really good player for Alabama.
Yeah, I mean, we won 2 national championships, and yeah, it's all American, all SEC.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah, and I got to thank the people around me too, because when you win so much, then you get a lot of attention, and then they get to value you at where you are.
Yeah.
So yeah, we had fun. Had a fun national championships, throwing people around.
The crazy
being a
thing, the crazy thing here as well with college football, which I didn't realize living in Australia, is how big it is. Like, it is massive. It's almost as big as like NFL, as much as people get into it. Like, people watch it and thrive on college football just as much as they do with the NFL.
Absolutely, especially in the South, it's a huge thing. Even high school, they have huge stadiums, like big stadiums for high school in the South. Yeah. Football is a big thing here. It's a big thing. I think it might be number 1, football or basketball. I'm not sure. I have to look that up, but it's
right.
It brings in a lot of attention, a lot of revenue for the schools, and now they started.
And now they get paid.
Yeah, they started forcing the school to share some of that.
Do you think that's
revenue.
a good thing?
I think it's going to change a lot of things. They're kind of like professionals now. Good thing, bad thing, I don't know. We'll see. I mean, there's pluses and minuses to everything. There's pros and cons.
They're just 20 years too late. You could be.
Yeah, man. I'll probably retire in college.
Right.
Don't even need to go in the NFL. Yeah, a lot of guys don't need to go to NFL to make a lot of money. They just do well in college, and if they go to NFL and make more money, great. But that sounds. It's just a crazy thing that's happening in my mind, because me growing up, you get $100 handshake, you're in trouble,
Right, yeah. So then 2014 comes around, you're in the draft. How are you feeling at that moment? Like, did you know you were going to get picked?
No, they don't tell you. I mean, maybe the top guys, probably the top 3.
Yeah.
But for the most part, no. You just get a phone call and you go to the next city.
Wow.
Yeah, absolutely. That's usually how it goes.
And so you had no idea you're a second round pick?
Yes, sir. Second round pick, the 44th pick in the draft.
And you go to the Buffalo Bills?
Buffalo Bills.
Yeah.
Buffalo Bills, yeah.
So
absolutely.
do you get a choice at all with that, or it's just like you just accept?
No, that's it. It's either that or you retire.
Really?
I think so, yeah. I think that's it, yeah.
Were you stoked with that decision, or were you like...
Absolutely, yeah. Go, man. Look, I've been working out, training, busting my butt for years and years and years, and the first person who decides to pay me to do that stuff, I'm taking it. Especially if you're paying me a lot of money, I'll go. I'm excited. Yeah, let's do it. Yeah, let's do it. Of course, everybody would like to choose where they're going, but shoot, I'm going, bro.
Does Alabama have a team? What's Alabama's NFL team?
I don't think they have an NFL team.
Okay.
No.
So what were you doing for a job back in college?
I didn't do a job. I think for summer I did like a clothing store.
Okay.
But no, I didn't do any job. I actually had, just for the football program, full scholarship. They took care of room, board, food, pretty much everything. Yeah. So
living the dream, bro.
I guess that was the dream.
And then you get picked, Buffalo Bills. How long did you play for them?
For 3 years. 3 years with the Buffalo Bills, and then the next 3 years with the Denver Broncos.
Okay.
Absolutely.
So in that trade period, you were traded, were you?
I was let go with
the Bills.
Yeah, with the Bills, and I got picked up with the Denver Broncos. I love Denver, man. Denver's a nice city. It's a great city to visit. Oh my gosh, the hiking, the city, the people are cool too. I love Denver. Yeah.
So what was it like running out on your first NFL game? Dude, that would have been like...
It's nerve-wracking, man.
Oh, it would have been
it's
pulling bricks, bro.
Yeah, it's really nerve-wracking. But it's a great feeling, It's hard to, like, reenact that feeling in any other thing in life, unless if you're going to war or something like that, which is just unforgiving at times. But, Yeah, it feels great to like have all those emotions out there and just go out through the tunnel like you're running through the Coliseum, Roman Coliseum, and being a meathead. Oh, it's a good thing to do while you're young. Truly enjoyed it.
You're a big unit, aren't you? You're what, 6'7"?
Yeah, 6'7".
How many pounds? Back then in your prime?
Yeah, back then in my prime was 320. It's plenty of weight.
Oh, it's like 160 kilos.
Yeah, something like that, plus or minus.
What position did you play?
Offensive tackle.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's where the big boys are, yeah?
Yeah, big, strong boys, tall guys.
You're holding back the other guys from
absolutely.
coming up
Yeah, just pushing people all day.
Yeah, protecting.
Yeah.
Protecting the quarterback, yeah?
Yeah.
That's how it is. See, I'm getting to know
Yeah, man.
football from being here, and I love it, man.
Yeah. I heard it's pretty big in Australia. I heard it's
NFL?
Yeah, I heard it's picking up. Don't they have an Australian?
You're talking about like an Australian NFL
league?
Type
of Australian.
Yeah,
league
I know a lot
like
of people that have actually played that. So you played 6 years in total.
Yeah.
6 years in total.
Yeah.
And then decided to retire.
Yeah. I played in Canada for a little bit, and then I just didn't have it in me anymore, so I just retired from there.
Yeah. So where did the Canada come in?
Saskatchewan. I decided to go out there and try to play in Canada for Saskatchewan.
Okay.
I don't know, man. I just didn't have that fighting spirit in me anymore to
That's paid as well, though, yeah? That wasn't...
Yeah, that was paid. Definitely not as much.
Right.
Not as much at all. But, it's like... I don't know. Like, I didn't get paid enough to go out there and, risk my body and all that stuff.
And the cool thing is as well, man, is like you got to play with your brother, that's right?
Yeah, we played together side by side, actually.
Really?
Yeah, at Alabama.
Alabama,
Yeah,
so that's
Alabama.
college.
Yeah. So they call it the Wall of Kouandjio. So, yeah, man, this is great times, man. Great memories.
How tall is he?
Yeah, 6'5".
Oh, man. How's your mum? Is she all right?
yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah. He's awesome. He's in
Ari, yeah?
Yeah, Ari. He's in Florida right now, doing this.
Lives there?
Yeah, with his wife and kids, and we're all grown up. We're all old, wives, kids,
Bro, you're not old.
responsibilities.
You're a young man. You're a few years older than me.
And it's not going to get any better. Actually, it's just going to get older, and more and more serious stuff.
Yeah.
Remember, kids was just running around and
full of energy.
Yeah, full of energy.
Don't care about anything. No problems.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, but now, it's serious. Everything is so serious.
And then also through your football career, many injuries, yeah?
Yeah. My whole left side, my hip, knee, shoulder.
Yeah? So what happened? Was it just, do you feel like, why were you cursed by injury?
I mean, there's actually 100% injury rate in the NFL. So 100% chance you're going to get an injury.
Really?
It can be small injury. You're going to have a small injury, but something's going to happen on the field each season that you play.
Wow.
But yeah, people get hurt out there. It could be a small thing you could play through or whatever, but it's 100% chance. But I don't know, man. It's just weird. Every injury I had, it affects your play, and that's one of the main reasons I retired in Canada. It's like I had an injured knee, and it was like ground beef, like trying to like run around with no cartilage in your left knee, and then your knee just swells up like whatever, and then I wasn't into it anymore.
Can you put your hand against mine?
Oh no, you're trying to? What is this? Some type of?
Bring it in the camera. I can bring it this way.
Yeah.
Dude, that is gnarly, man. I'm just a small man. You're a big man.
Yeah, I gained a few LBS in the past month or so.
Haven't we all? Man, I've lived abroad for 3 months.
Yeah, shoot. You got it, man.
No.
You got them genes, man. I
get
eat
to get up to
anything.
320 pounds of just pure muscle. Like
man,
you.
that's like Ronnie Coleman. Like me, yeah, pure muscle. Oh, man. Maybe one day.
What effect did like all your injuries have on your mental health?
It's just
being tough, yeah.
Yeah, so like injuries just made things tougher. You could bite. You could let it take over you, and you could just or you could just battle through it. And I chose to fight through it, fight through it every single day. Like I remember, like there was practices, like before practice. I remember one practice in Alabama. I was literally crying during warm up. I was tearing up. I'm like, my knee, it's hurting. I got a whole day to go. So it's like a mental battle added on top of everything. And injuries kind of do lower your performance a little bit. You don't reach your potential and stuff like that. But yeah, I think for me it was a huge mental game. And you got to do a lot of rehab. You got to spend a lot more time on your body. So yeah, don't get injured. Try not to.
No, try not to.
Yeah, try not to. I know a few people that just don't get injured. I'm like, wow.
Do you feel like you reached your peak though?
Close to it, but no, I don't think I felt like I didn't reach my peak. I could have been better.
Yeah.
I feel like I didn't do it. No,
Really?
I could have. Close. There was like a few months where I felt like I was, but no. Especially knowing what I know now. Especially growing up, like I went into the NFL when I was, I think 17 or 18. 18 my first year. So I was young.
Yeah.
There's a little bit of maturing helps, So yeah.
Where'd you get your nickname from too?
What nickname?
Psycho.
Psycho.
How old were you when you got
I
that?
don't remember. Where did I get that? It was like in college, I think.
Okay.
First name, or high school. Cyrus Kouandjio, Psycho.
Yeah.
I
love it.
Yeah, I just like to be a meathead out there, just running through walls head first,
And that's the great thing about sport is, especially for men, well, girls as well, but I only speak on men's behalf because I'm a man, how we can have so much going on in our own lives, right? We can have work, family issues, we can have relationship issues, we can have whatever it is. But as soon as you step on that field, everything goes away and all you're focused on is your opponent or winning that game, right?
Oh, absolutely. Look, if you have a job or work that you like, if you're blessed with a labor that you enjoy, it's kind of like it's a key. It's such a good key to life, I guess, because you just forget about anything else and you can just focus on it and you just be in the zone and do your thing.
Right.
So yeah, I was blessed with many years of just being able to do what I want, do it like for money.
Yeah.
And do what I like, and it just makes life so much easier. Absolutely.
And now I want to touch on all the challenges that you faced, especially the stuff that you've shared with me. I guess those mental challenges. I'd love you to touch on, really, because the aim of this podcast is to reach young men, especially in, this podcast in particular is for athletes. Well, I feel like would be directed for athletes that can relate, that like sport, that are in a similar position or sphere that you were. And from what you've shared with me, dude, is like you went through some pretty hard and dark times. So if you feel comfortable, I'd love you to touch on that.
Yeah, there's a few years when I was playing in the NFL, I started seeing my friends smoke a lot of weed and play well. And I'm like, man, and these guys were talented athletes. I'm like, how are they so good? Is it the weed? Maybe it's the weed. So I just started smoking weed too, hanging out with the guys. And there's a moment in life where I truly just like enjoyed the world and worldly pleasures and just indulged in anything that, drugs, alcohol.
While you were playing?
Yeah, while I was playing. Yeah, most of it was during the off season. Take the off season off. We have months off, and I was like 20 years old with a whole bunch of money and a whole bunch of whatever, and a lot of time and knucklehead friends. And oh my gosh. So yeah, man, party a little bit too hard, and
as you do.
Yeah, man. So I remember I was still a Christian, and I remember trying to figure out what's so bad about marijuana, what's so bad about weed. I don't see it in the Bible. I don't see it anywhere. And I've always read this verse says, be sober, for your enemy is about like a roaring lion, seeking who he may devour.
Yeah.
I kind of read over it, Back then, if I see something in the Bible that I really don't agree with or doesn't matter, I kind of just skip that and keep reading.
Yeah.
And so I learned quickly not to do that. Long story short, all the stuff I was doing, it created an intense paranoia in me, and it led me down a path of just destruction.
Right.
Yeah, but long story short, I was at my lowest of low, laying in the hospital, waiting for God to kick down the door and save the day.
Why were you in hospital? Why were you in hospital? Drugs, alcohol?
1 second, hold up, pause. Yeah, I was laying in the hospital and just I had a mental breakdown. So I was laying in the hospital and I was like, man, gosh, when is God going to kick the door down and just save the day? And it took me like almost a year of living in pure fear, paranoia.
Well,
I became fear, like
Wow.
literally afraid. That's a lot. It's just crazy, man. I hope nobody really understands the true nature of paranoia and fear.
Yeah.
There's no way to live.
Yeah.
But then, I decided to give God another try. So I started meditating on my Bible. I pick a verse in the Bible. I read it out, whichever.
Whilst you were in hospital?
No, this was after. This after I left the hospital.
Okay.
Yeah, I pick a verse in the Bible that I found that motivated me a lot. I felt like it spoke to me.
Do you remember what it was?
I remember the first one. It was. It took me like months to crawl back slowly to Christ.
What verse was it?
The verse was, "All who call upon the name of the Lord shall be saved," and that's a promise for God. A lot of people have issues. A lot of people have real problems. A lot of people have strongholds in their lives. And we are promised one thing, that there's one name given to men where they can be saved, and that name is Jesus Christ. That was the one thing given to the sons of men, the children of men, that's their out. Jesus saves. He's a good God. And I just started meditating on that. And I'm like, God, you promised this. You promised this. I know I'm afraid of this. I'm afraid of that. I'm afraid of all these things. I'm living in fear. I became fear. But you promised this, you promised all what is it about good things comes to those who love God? Those promises, and I just focused on them all day, every day, like literally replaying in my head like hundreds of times just to get it through the day. And then that brought me back to Christ little by little by little, and eventually, I feel like God saved me out of that mental torment.
Right.
Yeah.
So what did you practically do to get... Dude, what is happening? By the way, it's Halloween here in America, so the fact that we're glorifying God, man,
Absolutely.
on this day.
Yeah.
Anyway, that's why you're hearing weird, wacky noises outside. How did you get out of that pit that you were in?
Honestly, bro, I thought when I was going through it, I felt like I was so alone. Right. I felt like I was fighting the whole world, and my number one weapon when I was fighting the world was Christ. And then when I didn't see that, when I felt like I was all alone. I felt like I was fighting a spiritual battle, and I didn't have my sword, which is Christ. Right. And then when I slowly came back, practically, I started like, okay, I couldn't live like this. I was afraid to live. I mean, I was afraid to die, and I didn't want to live. It was just in limbo, because we know that we know what's on the other side for those who are not with Christ, And then I was just living in limbo. Couldn't keep living like this. I had to try God. So literally, I'd open up the Bible and just read the Bible. And if whatever touched me in my heart or whatever made me feel a certain type of way, I'd feel like that's special. I'm going to lean into that. I'm going to pull it out. I'll literally write it down. And every chance I get in my head, I would replay it. Right. Every second of the day that I can remember, I would replay it. And that was my therapy. That was my antidepressant. And little by little, I would notice that God was starting to actually bring those verses to life. And with time, it just started bringing to life, and I would see it in my life. So surely, like the verse, surely all those who call upon the name of the Lord shall be saved. And every step I took, I felt like I was going down that direction. And it was giving me hope, it was giving me faith, and I got to see it in action. God took those words and put it out there into this world and created a path for me, and I just walked by it. And it's not all me, He had to bring his supernatural self into my situation, but prayer is good, and then we all read the Psalms. It talks a lot about meditating on His words day and night. Meditate on it day and night, chew it over, and things happen. And that's what I did.
What advice would you give maybe a young person that is in a similar boat that you were, whether they're taking drugs, suicidal, into alcohol, sleeping around, whatever it might be that they may be facing? What advice would you give them in the athletic sphere? And then what do you wish, what kind of support do you wish you had? Touch on the first question.
So athletically, if we're just talking about athletically speaking, if you know how to optimize your time management is the number one thing, how to optimize your time. And everybody has 24 hours in the day. What do you do with yours to get better? What do you eat? How do you eat? How do you train? How do you focus? Time management is just how it's done.
But if they're in a real negative pit, how would you, what advice would you give that individual? So if you think of a 16, 18-year-old dude that's in a similar boat that you were in, really, really struggling, what advice would you give him?
Man, if you're struggling like that at 16, oh my gosh. I can't help you, bro. It's all God. Only God can help you. Nobody, in that situation, you don't think anybody can help you. Nobody can help you. Only the supernatural power of God can help you. People wonder why I'm out there, with fellows like yourself, preaching the word or talking, spreading the love of Christ to complete strangers. Is because He saved me.
Right.
He saved me, and I know He has the power to save other people. And it's just our duty. But look, if you guys are going through that at that age, going to deep suicide, lean on Christ and hold on to that Christ figure, Christ spirit. Hold on to it until your hands get cramped up and you can't release at all, even if you wanted to. Don't let anybody take that from you.
Because there's a lot of pressure.
Yeah. What do you mean?
There's a lot of pressure to perform as a young man in the sporting sphere. There's a lot of pressure from parents to hey, you got to make sure you perform the best, or a lot of pressure from peers or coaches or something, just to that can be negative, and all these voices that are coming from all these directions can come in so many negative ways, and you just be like, well, this is overwhelming and gets too much, so there's a lot of pressure. So what you said is great.
Look, if you guys are going through pressure, I've seen my daughters, they go to soccer practice or whatever, and I see the pressure their parents put them on and their coaches put them, and they scream at them, you can do this, you can do that. I'm like, here, if you can't do it, you can't do it. You either can or you can't do it.
Right.
If you can do it, train. The more you train, the more you'll be able to do it. Usually, you have to. The only thing that can. So the pressure, yeah, okay. There's pressure out there, all right, but either you have it or you don't. The way you get it is by practicing and managing your time to optimize your ability in whatever sport that it is that you partake in. And the better you optimize it, the better things that you do with your time it increases your ability.
Right.
And you have a set ability. So it's like beating a dead horse. If you don't have it, you don't have it. Okay, if you don't have it, go get it.
Yeah.
How do you go get it? Time management.
Yeah.
Nutrition, training, all that stuff.
Right.
If you're focused on what you're doing and you're serious about your craft, you're doing the best you can. As long as you're doing the best you can. Basically what I'm saying is do the best you can with your time, with the 24 hours that you have. But with the mental game, now I'm
tough one.
segueing into the mental game.
Yeah.
Man, your brain is a battlefield. Your thoughts come to life, like self-fulfilling prophecies left and right. So the war is in your mind. I've been through it, the mind war. Yeah, a lot of people say therapy. I believe in therapy for some people. But for me, the most powerful thing that I've experienced with, mind hacking is do what they told you to do in Psalms. Meditate on the word of God day and night.
Great.
If you feel like your faith is low, find a book in the Bible that talks about how God gives faith or how He increases your faith, and think about it all day and night. Think about it all day and night. Watch by it. See how you'll how different you'll be by the end of the week. So the mind game, I'd use a mind hacks, which is meditating on the word of God day and night. Yeah. Like, don't listen to what the world says about you. Listen to what God says about you. Yeah. Bombard your mind about what God says about you. Bombard your mind about the promises of God. Right. Don't focus on the circumstances or where you are at the present moment. If it's not where you want to be, find something in the Bible that emulates what you want to be, and just meditate on that. Believe in that. Put your faith in that. Pray to God about that. Because you got to defend your brain, man. Yeah. You got to defend your mind. There's a lot of suicides here in America, especially from young adults. There's a lot of that going on, and yes, medicine helps. I'm not saying don't take medicine. I'm not saying don't go to therapy. But me is just leaning on God, holding on to God's promises until your last breath, your last thought, and that's what I'd say to do. Great, man. Absolutely. What do you think?
I mean, dude, just what you said there is I've shared with you, and happy to share with people. But the past few weeks being here, 12 weeks being here, has been beyond challenging for me for multiple reasons. But as you said, bro, like if I didn't have Christ, I have no idea where I'd be. I would be at home. There was times I was walking down this suburb, right? Like, and just my thoughts, my head, anxiety, paranoia, just everything was just accumulating. And I was looking like, dude, I do not take drugs. I do not drink. I was like, I could really go for something right now just to ease my mind. But I was like, no, I've got the Lord and He's going to sustain me through this. And there's times, bro, where it is literally moment for moment where I'm sitting here going, flip. My mind is going a million miles an hour. The world feels like it's caving in on me. Everything is just too overwhelming and too hard to handle. But God is so faithful, just that moment will pass. Like I remember a soldier that was going through like the toughest Marine Navy SEAL, whatever they have, course. And the one thing that got him through, they had to dig holes and sleep in the ground, almost like a coffin. The one thing that got him through that was knowing that this will end. And for whoever is listening and going through a tough time, like this will end. And yeah, like as you said, dude, just meditating on God's word and repeating His promises, like trust in the Lord with all your heart. Do not lean on your own understanding.
Yeah, because you said, like you were just mentioning, like one train of thought was telling you can really go for a beer right now,
right? And
another train of thought was telling you, what was the other one? No, God would provide, or God would.
Yeah,
God.
I can't remember what I said.
Yeah, but there's two train of thoughts, like.
Right. It's like, which one is God?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
God's not going to tell me to go sip a beer to ease my anxiety. That's not of Him. It's no. He will sustain me.
Absolutely. And then like when those two frame of minds, those two thoughts run in my head, sometimes I forget. Like last week, I was going through it. I just let those bad thoughts just take over, and I was like, "Whoa!" Snap out of it. Like one day, I was like, I'm just murmuring. Why am I speaking so like I'm murmuring bad things and like
Yeah.
I just had a tough week and I was just complaining and complaining. I was like, you know what? I'm just gonna stop doing that and I'm gonna start bombarding my brain with the good thoughts. I don't care what I'm going through. I'm gonna bombard my brain with the good, godly thoughts.
And one negative thought will come into 2 to 3 to 4,
Yeah.
and then before you know it, your whole mind is covered in this,
Absolutely.
and that's all you think about. So there's such a hard practical way, and I know how hard it is to snap out of that mindset and focus on the good in such a, like, you may genuinely be in a really bad situation, but as hard as it sounds, is you have to find the good in it, and the good is, for us, is the word of the Lord. Is, hey, no matter what happens, even though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, Psalm 23, I think it is.
Yeah, I think one of the apostles talks about, okay, I need to memorize all my, I read the Bible a few times, but I just don't have the verse and so it talked about, one of the apostles, he talked about focusing on the good, positive things.
Right.
All the good, focus what is good, what is pleasant, what is all that.
Yeah.
I mean, you don't have to understand why he says these things, but it's true. Focus on those things. Like, as soon as, like, even last week I was going through a tough week. As soon as I just started, I realized that I was murmuring. I was murmuring in my heart about the prayers that I'm not apparently not receiving. And it was just tearing me up inside. And I was like, yo, I'm murmuring. Like, I'm over here complaining that, like, people that, like, it's not a good thing. God is not like that. And then I turned it over. I was like, I need the fruit of the Spirit, which is love, joy, peace, patience, goodness, kindness, self-control. Like, I need to be focusing on that. I was like, and from the inside out, it just started changing me, and my week started getting better. I started noticing the good stuff in life. I started getting good business coming in, which is weird, and I started noticing the goodness of it. I don't know what came first, the chicken before the egg, whether it's like me focusing on good things or the good things happening. I don't know, but I focus on God things, and I just happened to see breakthrough just by meditating on the word of the Lord. Read the first chapter of Psalms, the first 2 chapters of Psalms. Talks a lot about meditating on the word of the Lord. It talks about how blessed the man is that he keeps the words, the law and the word of the Lord in his heart day and night. It talks about you're so blessed. He tries to explain how good of a thing it is for somebody who keeps his mind and his heart on God day and night.
Right.
Don't let anybody take that from you. Don't let your situation take that from you.
Yeah.
There's the love of God is always there, you know. And neither height nor depth nor anything in all creation can separate you from the love of God. And keep that in your heart, especially if you're going through things. That's a good one. Repeat that in your heart day and night and think about it. Oh, how does God love me? So it's just unravel it like an onion, and trust me, see what happens at the end of the week. You'll be amazed. You'll be amazed. I mean, meditating on the Word of God is a lot more popular back then in the old days when new Christians. I don't know. Right now it's like, yes, we pray a lot and we fast a lot, but the third pillar is meditating on His Word. And I feel like we haven't been emphasizing meditating on His Word a lot. But we do a lot of prayer, we do a lot of fasting, but the third pillar, I feel like it has so much value to it, and it's so practical.
I remember hearing a quote, and it was just like, don't let your environment change you, change your environment. And just whilst you were speaking, I thought of Paul. Like, Saul, who became Paul, literally was serving a sentence while writing sentences. And he was an individual that, didn't allow his circumstance or his environment to change him. He changed everything around him and was still focused on the Lord. And that got him through sheer pain.
Yeah, a lot. Yeah, a lot of it. Yeah, he's been whipped a bunch of times. He got in a lot of trouble. It's I truly believe, like, as men, you have to find out who you are and just stand on that, you know. And I'm a Christian, and that's what I stand on.
Right.
A lot of people, like for right now, we were having a podcast interview about mostly Christ in the middle of Halloween.
Yeah.
Where a lot of people may be hot and cold on Halloween. Me personally, I don't like Halloween because I don't like evil, and I don't like anything that tries to, you know, dress itself up as, and I don't think it's a joke, you know. And I read my Bible enough that my Father in heaven, he doesn't like evil. He doesn't like evil spirits. He doesn't like anything. He just doesn't like it. I don't like it. And I know a lot of my Christian brothers and sisters out there celebrating, and that's fine because, you know, if it doesn't hurt their conscience, they're cool. But for me, I just can't do it, and I don't care if the whole world goes out there and does it.
But I think it's up to people like us and anyone else to call that out as Christians, because we're here to love on our brothers and sisters and say, hey, what you're doing, you realize isn't the right thing to do. Like if you truly understand the meaning behind Halloween, which, look, some Christians may not actually understand the meaning behind Halloween, then it's ignorance. You know, they just don't understand, or they don't know the reality of Halloween. Dude, I walked up this street before you came here. I have never seen that many people out celebrating Halloween in my life. I didn't realize I knew it was big here in America. I didn't realize how big that was. Dude, there was like thousands and thousands of people in that one street.
Yeah, it makes me sad because it shows me a picture of human nature, the fall of man, where we can just all gather together and celebrate something that looks evil and not bat an eye about it. You know, I don't think angels in heaven have anything. I bet you every single culture or civilization in the world has one day where they can act or look as evil as they want and celebrate something that looks close to hell or the grave or evil or whatever. And that's just human nature that we're at right now. And it kind of makes me sad also. But that's just me personally. It makes me sad because, like,
Bro, we get to
1,000 to my left and 1,000 to my right fall. Like this is it's okay. It's evil, man. It might be okay, if you're ignorant, ignorance is bliss, I guess. But I just don't like the looks of it. My Father doesn't like evil or anything that, like, we go out there and pray for people. We see them tormented by these very things that most people don't even think is real. Yeah. Like, demons are real. Like, a lot of these evil spirits are real, and people are really going through tough times because of them. You know, the fall of man because of them. And just to put my tangent I just like to end with, I just don't like Halloween, bro.
Right.
I just don't like Halloween. And that's going back to what you were saying about being a thermometer, or not being a thermometer, but setting the temperature, being a thermostat, not a thermometer. Yeah, I chose Christianity. Yeah, I chose loving what my Father loves and hating what my Father hates. And even if 1,000 to my left, 10,000 to my right decide to go do something that I'm not going. Right, I'm fine. And you know, the way human beings work is they either a lot of people are followers, and it's just what it is.
Now, this is going back to sort of what we were talking about before. I'd love to know, how can pastors, how can people of the faith support people in NFL, people in basketball, people growing up trying to be pro athletes? What do you feel like, maybe, was there a lack of support for you by people of faith, or what do you wish you had?
I felt like I always had a lot of, I felt like I had a lot of support. I think identity is a huge thing. So I feel like if you continue to support them, continue to remind them who they are, child of God, man of God, hey, good guy, good, speak to him in heavenly word, using heavenly words, reminding them that like the way we greet each other, the way our group greets each other,
Yeah.
we're very positive influences on each other. And just bringing that energy, just bringing that heavenly positive energy. You're not going to be the type of person that tries to get your friend to do something bad or anything like that. They won't know you to be one of those type of people. They'll know you to be an influence, a good influence. Basically a good influence, a heavenly influence. And I keep saying heavenly instead of good because I think there's a difference. I think there's a difference in doctrine, not just doctrine, but it's just there's a difference. And heavenly, because God is real, His Spirit is real. When you evoke His name and when you meditate on Him, real things happen. And so that's the difference between just being a good guy and just like being a God type. Yeah. So just being around Him and carrying that Holy Spirit and just being genuine and bringing those good heavenly vibes, man. I think God will do the rest.
What challenges do you feel like you faced as a man in the athletic sphere? Was there any like major challenges that you saw not only you faced but most of the other blokes in your team faced?
I like to go back to identity.
Yeah,
just know who
identity.
you are. Identity, because I feel like everything stems from who you are. Like what you're able to do or will do is who you are. I'm a child of God. I can do this. I'm a child of God. I can't do this. Our heart will tell us all types of things. What do we want to do? Like, what impulses do we have? Like, should we rob this bank? Should we steal from this person? Should we commit sexual immorality? Yeah, my body tells me I want to do this or do that. But who am I? I'm a child of God.
Great.
So quiet those thoughts and bombard your brain with God thoughts. I'm a child of God. I don't do that. I can't do that. So I feel like knowing your identity, it gives you it gives you a name, it gives you a number, it lets you know what race you're racing towards. Yeah. And I always say identity because it brings you, my hope, it brings you closer to God because God will do the rest. Right. God will be able to shape and change people's life through these lenses. God will reach to you through these lenses and grab you and set you on a straight path and truly change things in your life. So just knowing you're a child of God. I don't know how many people out there are children of God that watch the podcast or are Christians, but it's a good spot. It's a good club. You should join it. You should join the club. But knowing your identity, knowing your identity and sticking by it. Don't let anybody else tell you who you are. Don't let your emotions tell you who you are. Don't let your feelings tell you who you are. Let God tell you who you are, and then He'll change your feelings. He'll change your wants. He'll change your needs, and He'll put a path before you. He has so many plans for you.
Great.
He has so many plans for you, not to harm you, but to bless you.
Yeah.
But you gotta know who you are.
Yeah.
I'm a child of God. I'm not like the rest of the world. I'm not even if 1,000 people to my left fall or 10,000 to my right people decide to go right. If I have to go left because I'm a child of God, I go left. That's how you're right. Standing on business. Right. You are a man. You figured it out because you figured out that you're a child of God, and then you just walking in that path, and people will follow. And it just happens, man. When you have that, when you have God, you have the truth. When you have truth, you have the answer.
So good.
Yeah. So and people are attracted to that.
Yeah.
So,
how do you think? For those going to church, how can pastors or people of the faith, leaders of the faith, support athletes? I know I sort of asked that question before, but I'd love to know.
Okay, so pastors,
like for those pastors listening, which I know there was a request for this question. How can a pastor or leaders of faith, like elders of the church or whatever that is, how can they support athletes who have faith but living in such a pressured culture.
So when I'm thinking about like every team that I've been a part of, we had a team chaplain.
Oh, great.
Yeah, we had a team chaplain.
I reckon you'd be great at one, bro.
Oh, too much responsibility. I already got 3 kids.
What's another 10?
What's another 10, 15, 20, 30? It's nothing. Yeah, but they have a team chaplain. And I think the most valuable thing is just proximity to the team chaplain and being able to, if the chaplain's available. So we'd have a Bible study weekly.
As a team or only the people that wanted to?
Only people who wanted to. So Bible studies at Thursday at this time.
Was that most of the team?
No, it's a small handful that, especially the guys that come every time, small handful. But Thursday at this time, Bible study, and just creating a space where people can come, and then just being open, just being available, kind of.
Right.
So the Bible studies were really helpful. So you can get some time. It's just about proximity. I mean, if you're a team chaplain, if you're a preacher, in a lot of people's eyes, you're the closest thing to God. You are carrying the Holy Spirit. Yeah. You do have power in you to, do what God wants you to do. So the closer that they get, So once a week, Bible study, and what else can we do?
What about within a church?
Within a church?
Yeah.
To the athletes?
Yeah, like a pastor. So if they're pastoring an athlete, do you think there's any extra support or way you feel like?
Don't be afraid to reach out. A lot of people are afraid to approach an athlete or a celebrity or whatever because they're probably bombarded with people who want to hang out with them. But if they're in a church or just don't be afraid to reach out. I remember there's a few pastors that they saw me out of the crowd and they reached out. And I didn't tell them to kick rocks. I was like, hey, yeah, let's hang out. Oh, let's go grab it. Reach out. Don't be afraid. Yeah, that's the number one thing, because I feel like a lot of people have in their mind, because the athlete walks in, you should kind of treat him as if he's just one of the crowd and stuff like that. That's correct. Yeah, treat him normally, but also don't be afraid to reach out to him. Yeah. Like, hey, how you doing? What's good? My name is this. Yeah. What's your name?
Yeah, they need accountability too. Hey.
Yeah, accountability. Yeah. So, accountability is important. Yeah, but when I'm thinking you're pastoring, you're leading these young men.
Yeah, right.
I feel like accountability is going to be a part of that. But you have to have them in front of you. You have to have their attention. You have to kind of be like a father figure. And in order to do that is reach out,
That's good.
That'd be the first place I'd start. Yeah.
So now with life, you own a few businesses.
Yes.
You're a married man.
Yes, sir.
3 kids.
3 kids.
Yeah. 6, 7 years out of the NFL?
Yeah.
5.
About there.
5.
Like 5. Yeah, 5 years. 5 years exactly. Yeah.
5?
Yeah.
What's next on the cards for you then? Anything?
So like right now, my main priority right now is of course, my children, but also the works that I want to do. I want it to last eternity. Right. I know that sounds crazy, but I don't know. I've worked hard for money. I've accomplished money. It all comes and goes, and you can always make more money. Kids are good, and I love my kids to death, and back again. I want to do stuff for Christ. I want to work with Christ. I want to go on the journey with Christ, because I know that everything He does lasts eternity. Yeah. All the statues you see outside of all the great men of old, eventually those statues, all the great kings of old, those statues, they crumble, they fall. Their names, 100 years later, 1,000 years later, 3,000 years later, they fall. But Christ's name will last forever, and I want to be grafted in that. So I want my activities and all the stuff that I do to last eternity. Of course, make a little bit of money on the side, very nice. Enjoy my family on the side, very nice. But I want the things that I do in this world to count.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
You know, I'm not a Donald Trump. I'm not a president. I'm not a.
Not yet, bro.
No, I can't be president. I wasn't born here.
Oh, true. True.
Yeah, I don't have that type of power in any way, shape, or form to change things without Christ. So everything I do, I want it to last eternity. So
good, man.
Absolutely.
You speak French, don't you?
Je parle français. C'est comme ça. Yeah.
Fluently?
A little bit. Yeah. That's my first language.
So you fluently?
Kind of.
Really?
Yeah.
It's your first language?
First language, yeah. I was born in Cameroon.
You mean a little bit then?
Yeah. I forgot a little bit of it. I forgot a little bit of it.
Croissant.
But yeah. I could definitely communicate, but that's my language in Cameroon where I was born.
Yeah, that's mind-blowing.
Yeah.
I did not know
Yeah, man.
you speak French there.
Absolutely.
That's crazy.
Yeah, brother.
Yeah. But man, it's been a pleasure to get to know you over the past 12 weeks of being here, serving alongside you, serving the community, getting to know you and your past, your history, even just you sharing and opening up with some battles you've faced now recently, and whilst in the NFL, and I appreciate you sharing and opening up with me with all of that, dude. You're a bloody good man. You got a heart of gold, and you're a hard worker. I've seen you work hard in that truck.
Absolutely.
And man, I just see that heart of yours, just wanting to reach out to as many individuals, and just see the lost saved.
Absolutely, man. Every moment with you, man, was awesome, brother. You're definitely a God kind. Definitely a God kind. So
thanks, bro.
Always welcome.
Yeah.
And I'm sure I got to visit Australia now.
Yeah, I'm waiting for you, bro.
Yeah, absolutely, man.
I mean, just to sort of close, just a quick testimony was myself, Don, who was on last time's podcast, and Cyrus, the three of us were praying for a woman who had cerebral palsy, and her knees were sort of like bent inwards. I don't know what you call that. I can't remember. I remember studying it. Her knees were bent inwards, and we felt the call to go and pray for this woman. She was on crutches. We went up to her, started praying for her, just asked her, hey, what's happened? And she said, I've got cerebral palsy, can't walk straight. The three of us prayed for her. And in this moment, I have never seen anything like it. I'd never see knees straighten in front of my eyes. Dude, that was wild.
Yeah, the knees straighten, yeah.
Like literally.
Yeah, man,
and
God is great.
I was like, can you walk? Do you want to try without your crutches? And then she started walking, and she was swearing, like going, what is happening?
Yeah, man. See, that's that stuff like that, man. It's lasts eternity, man. God, when God moves, man, he moves with purpose.
Right.
I want to allow myself to that. But yeah, God's great, man. God's great, and I just want to share the goodness of God to as many people as possible.
Yeah.
And absolutely, man. It was a pleasure. Multiple journeys. Multiple people were healed out there in the streets. We had so many times out there where a miracle happened and God showed up. And every Wednesday. You go out there if you guys go out there every Wednesday or once a week for an hour, 2 hours a day, and you just start praying for people.
Yeah, you see things, man.
In spirit and truth, things are going to happen.
But the thing to keep in mind is sometimes it doesn't look like how we want it to look, hey?
Especially, exactly, yeah. And don't forget, you're not God. God's God.
Yeah.
So
let God be God.
Let God be God. So whatever happens with your emotions out there, it's just emotions. Let God be God. Pray for him, and let God be God. Absolutely.
I know you're a busy man. You got a family to go home to. It's pretty late as well.
Absolutely.
You're a busy man with work, with family, and with everything else in between. But dude, it has been a pleasure to get to know you. Love you like a brother. You are a brother, but I love you like one as well, man.
Thank you.
You're an absolute blessing.
Appreciate it.
And thank you so much for sharing your experiences and jumping on the podcast.
Well, thank you for having me. You know, thank you for having me.
I mean, there's 1,000 other questions I'm sure I could have asked, but I'm just blessed to have got the opportunity to spend it with you, man.
Thank you, man. Thanks for having me, and yeah, let's do this.
Before I end, your favorite book of the Bible?
Oh, my favorite book. Isaiah jumped in my head, but let me think about that. Favorite book, I like Ephesians. I like Ephesians.
Yeah, that's a good answer.
Romans is good too.
Yeah?
Yeah. Or we can go with the gospel. They're all good, man.
Okay.
Isaiah jumped in my head.
You got a favorite verse or you shared? Or?
Yeah, my favorite verse is surely God was with him, and there is no other God.
Great.
Yeah, absolutely.
Is it your favorite character in the entire Bible besides Jesus?
Favorite character in the entire Bible besides Jesus? I like Paul. I like how he poured himself out. This dude got beat so many times, got whipped so many times, saw so many visions of God, had Jesus himself speak to him in his glorified form. But I like the struggle. You know, the hero story. You know, just it motivates me and it just keeps me going.
Is there any person in the Bible, any character you closely resemble yourself to?
Myself? I've never thought about that.
Right.
Who's Cyrus? I can't.
It's not a trick question.
I can't think of anything, bro.
I'm sure there'll be someone.
I can't think of how I've never thought of that. I've never thought about asking myself that. Who am I in the Bible? Bro, who are you in the Bible? Now I gotta think about that, bro.
I think David. David for me.
Mm-hmm. Why?
Yeah.
You gotta talk us through it now.
Just either Joseph or David. And I say that because David in particular, just a shepherd boy, like people looked through him and past him, and he ended up being king. So it's just a great story of how God uses the people that seem the most incompetent, the broken, you know. And I feel like at times we feel broken, and I know I definitely was broken, but I know it's been a journey over the years of restoration and restoring me, and whatever I'm called to do eventually, and I'm called doing right now is, sometimes I feel very, very privileged and anointed and almost like a king in a way, where I'm just like, I'm in a position where I feel like I shouldn't be here.
Yeah, I think just being honest with myself, I think I'm probably like one of the bigger groups that God prayed to go out there and do stuff. Like I think it was like 70 people, or like a larger number of disciples where God blessed Christ. Yeah,
you're one of them.
Just nameless guys that out there did wonders in the name of
what
Christ.
An answer. I love that.
But no name, just guys out there doing stuff.
Just a disciple.
Yeah, just one of those guys. Yeah. I thought it was really cool. Like when I was playing football, I really studied one of David's mightiest warriors.
Yeah.
Like how one of them would just strike down 1,000 people. Like another one they will break through enemy lines to get him a cup of water and bring it back, just 3 guys versus a whole army.
Right.
I was really motivated by those guys.
You can be
I'm
one
like,
of them, bro.
Absolutely. It's like you hear about Stamson and you hear his whole story, but those guys put in some crazy work. And geez, they only get like 2-3 lines, but gosh, Lee, I mean, how many stories, what has God done? Like, he's done a lot, he's doing a lot.
Well, you're a giant. I can take you down.
Oh, don't do me like that. Please don't do that. It's a modern day pistol. Of course you could take me down. Gosh, Lee. Chew. Absolutely.
Is there any final advice you'd give a young man?
When I'm thinking about life changing, I'm thinking about like one of the most powerful prayers that I've done and meditated on, and it just shifted a lot of things in my life. Just 2 words: God help.
God help.
Reach out to Christ. God help. I don't care if you need help getting out of your chair. I'd learn to lean on Christ. lean on Christ, because the world's going to throw a lot of things at you, and a lot of the stuff you can't handle it. You can't. And a lot of people that come before you that dealt with the same issues, they couldn't handle it either. But with Christ, all things are possible.
Good.
And I'd lean on that, and don't let anybody take that truth away from you. Absolutely.
I love how you said, even if you need help getting out of the chair, and there's a chair just over there that you've sat in it.
Yeah, I broke a chair. I'm a serial chair breaker, everybody. 3 plates plus some.
Oh, yeah.
But yeah. Chairs know me by name.
Well, this has been Masculine Excellence Through Christ. Appreciate you guys watching. Cyrus, again, massive thank you. Yeah, I guess we'll catch you in the next episode. I'll be back in Australia next week, so hopefully Zach and I can tee up another one of these with another special guest. I'm sure there's plenty that he has got lined up. But yeah, thank you for listening. Thank you for watching. We pray that you got something out of it. Be blessed, stay prayed up, and don't do anything I wouldn't do. Love you guys.